everybody. My name is Gian Saccomanno, and my first artifact is going to focus on knowledge of the healthcare environment, and my theme is reforming the healthcare system in a way that will give patients full satisfaction with their visits instead of feeling like they were rushed and like they weren't fully looked over. So, to start out, I have experienced a lot of injuries through sports, from bumps and bruises to snowboarding and hitting the slopes and breaking my arm against a tree. And then a lot of my injuries coming from my time as a Charlotte 49er football player. I've had a lot of bumps and bruises, obviously, but I've also had some significant things. And one of those was an elbow dislocation, where you can see right here I was hit late after the whistle and hit the ground with my arm extended, and it did not feel good at all. And right here, you can see this nice little brace that they gave me to let people know, hey, don't bump into this guy's arm. Something's wrong with it. But my day from this point of dislocating my elbow on went fairly slowly. I had to wait for practice to be finished. I had to wait in the training room. I had to wait for them to see me, for them to examine me. I had to wait for them to set up an appointment with Ortho Carolina. I had to get in the car with an assistant trainer, drive to Uptown Charlotte, sit and wait in Ortho Carolina, fill out some paperwork, go in, wait in the examining room, get an x-ray, and then after all of that, which also I should have gotten an MRI. After all of that, the doctor comes in, tells me bones are okay, good news. But we're not going to need to do an MRI because based off of my past experience, these things are just micro tears. So you don't need an MRI. You can just be sufficient with this examination and just rehab it. So I was upset that I didn't get an MRI because even though he is an experienced doctor, I still felt like I wanted the full examination. I wanted the MRI to make sure full well that everything in there was not really, really torn and that I was good to go and that I didn't have to have surgery. But I walked away from that visit after waiting for hours and hours, feeling like I wasn't fully examined and that my visit was almost a little bit pointless because I could have just been told something like that by him over the phone, because they could have just said, hey, we had a guy with a subluxation, and he could have said, based on my experience, just a couple little micro tears, so he's good. So I know that a lot of patients feel this way in any kind of visit, where they walk in, get a brief little examination, and walk out of there a little uncomfortable because they have some concerns and they feel like they weren't all met. This leads me into my next artifact, which is communication. This right here was a great communicator skills builder. This was the Gold Rush auction, which pre-lockdown it was held every single summer, and a lot of donors and boosters, they would come, they would auction off a lot of stuff for these people to try to get, down from shoes to paintings to blankets, all the way to golf carts and flat screen TVs, and really, really cool event. They would cater it. We got to have some of the food. We got to talk to the people, and it really built my skills with knowing how to talk to someone of a business mindset. It helped me to understand how I need to talk to them, what their approach to a conversation is, how they think. And it was a real skill builder because it was going to help me in my future profession wherever I go with the healthcare system. So this helps me in the sense of my ePortfolio theme, where I want to reform visits to where patients can feel more comfortable, because my communication skills that I have built will help me approach doctors and nurses and anybody else who is examining in a way that they will understand why they need to go about their visits in a different way, why they need to let patients have full questions, how they need to not rush visits so that they can make it to the next one in time. Everything down to a T is examined, because I want patients to be able to walk away knowing full well that every single question that they had was answered, that they had a good visit, and that they're going to be okay because they let it out all on the table. They had all their questions answered, and they knew that they were going to be fine. So these communication skills really help in the business world because it helps me formulate the right words. It helps me formulate how they think and how they approach situations, and how I need to talk to them versus how I would talk to another profession, and how I need to tell them to reform the way that they go about their visits a little bit better. So overall, I think that these artifacts could really help me with my theme and my goal for the healthcare system. And I hope you enjoyed my presentation and have a nice day.